Well, holy moly, Nuggets Nation, what happened, man? What the hell just happened? A bombshell earlier. I wanted to take a couple hours before making the video to kind of let all the, immediate emotions settle before I made this video. But the Nuggets, just about a week and a half before the playoffs start, with just like 4 games left, fire head coach Mike Malone and GM Calvin Booth. Crazy timing, very weird. There's a lot to break down, and we're going to talk about it. So, guys, if you love Denver sports as a whole, hit the subscribe button. Check some of the other videos out. We're going to have a lot more Nuggets content coming out soon as the playoffs get closer like we normally do. So stay tuned for that. But what does this mean for this team? So, guys, as we know, the Nuggets have been on a 4-game losing streak. I think it's the first 4-game losing streak we've had in several years. I don't know. I feel like it's been a long time. But we have been reeling as a team. And I'm not going to lie, I did feel like Malone kind of did lose this team. It just seemed like there was a different vibe about the players. It hasn't been looking good. And I didn't think we were going to make a very deep postseason run just given the performance really since the missed layup that caused all of this drama during the Minnesota Timberwolves game. But guys, let's break it down one thing at a piece. We don't have to get too much into Calvin Booth because he deserved to get fired months ago. So the fact that he's gone brought a little semblance of happiness to me, given a lot of negative news for the team. Mike Malone getting fired now is very strange. It's very, very weird timing, and I haven't really decided how I feel about it. But let me tell you guys a couple of things. Firstly, if we don't really know what was going on behind the scenes, it was clear based off of the performance of the team. But not just that, it was also clear based off of what Mike Malone said after the most recent game, saying, these guys aren't watching film. I can't really force them to watch film. They're not really bought in. That kind of told you that the team, he lost the locker room. It is what it is. Now, listen, just 2 years ago, Mike Malone, or Michael Malone, I'll call him Mike now. I don't care. He's not even the coach no more. Mike Malone won the first ever championship for this Denver Nuggets franchise. So he'll always be a legend. And I feel like it would have been a nice gesture for the team to at least let him finish out the season, sit him down, talk over some things. And then if you were going to decide to move on from him, you do it amicably, right? But it's also a very cutthroat business, and I get it. And if they felt like, listen, you're not going to be judged based off of past success. You only can be judged based off of the most recent performance. And that being the case, I guess it would make the overall decision to let go of Mike Malone. It makes sense. It does make sense. Do I feel like this team was going to go far in the playoffs? No. And I don't think anybody in Nuggets Nation really felt that way. And so if that's the case, if you don't think we're going to win a championship, why not take the chance of seeing if this sparks a team and maybe they make a deeper postseason run than they would have had we kept Mike Malone? I don't know. Regardless, I think that this season was not going to end in the championship. They were going to make a change, and now they get a little bit of a head start of doing it. They should have let Calvin Booth go, not just before the season started, but certainly before the trade deadline. Because what he's done to this team is an absolute travesty, to say the least. Absolutely no action, doing anything of semblance. All he's done is make terrible moves. And it started all the way back to when he re-signed Zeke Naji to a big deal and all that kind of stuff. And the way he dragged out the Jamal Murray contract and did absolutely nothing to help this roster before the trade deadline. It's awful. It's something that I'll never forgive Calvin Booth for. Plus, he's just an asshole. He talks like everybody around him is stupid when in reality he's the dumb one. All he did was acquire a very, very good team and ruin what Tim Connolly had built before him. So he gets no credit in anything at all. In fact, he's 99% to blame in all this. It's crazy. Anyways, aside from talk about Calvin Booth, the decision is crazy, man. And if you think about it, if you really think hard about it, the missed layup and the horrendous decision to even go for a layup and the terrible clock management all by yours, Russell Wilson, has gotten Mike Malone fired, has led us to this exact place. Because I don't think if we win that game against Minnesota, I don't think any of this happens. I think it eventually would have, but I don't think it happens at this exact time. So, what is it there to be said? I think at the end of the day, when all the smoke clears and the dust settles, if you're going to fire your coach before the playoffs or you're going to fire him after the playoffs and you don't feel like this team was going to win a championship anyways, then the timing really doesn't matter. I get the whole respect thing with Mike Malone, but the results and the way that the team responds and the way that the team looks in these last few games before the playoffs, hopefully we don't have to be in a play-in, that'll tell you everything. If we just look worse or we look just as bad, then it was a bad decision. If we look a little bit more energized and we look more functional as a team, then it'll end up being a good decision and we can move on. But I'm kind of looking ahead already. Man. Who do you guys feel like is the best fit or potential fits for the Denver Nuggets franchise moving forward? I know it's super early and there's a lot that has to play out. If David Adelman, the new interim coach, who's been an assistant on the team for a long time, if he shows a lot of promise and he's somebody that it seems like the team really responds well, it's not basketball is not like football where you just can't consider the interim coaches. This is somebody that is actually a very highly touted assistant. Obviously, his father, being Rick Adelman, has a lot of coaching experience. He's coached the team in times where Mike Malone was either sick or out for some personal reasons or whatever. And so who knows? It's going to be interesting to see. So he could be one of the candidates, but is there anybody else? I'm thinking already ahead of thinking, how can we get Chauncey Billups? Bring the hometown kid home. He's always been somebody that I feel like has deserved to be the head coach here, in my opinion. It just makes too much sense, given his ties and the kind of legend that he already is here. And I love the fact that he's gotten some really good experience with the Trailblazers already. He's got his feet wet in the head coaching game. I think he's going to learn a lot from that. I know he's very highly respected, so I don't even know if there's going to be an opportunity to get him, but that's something to think about. But yeah, we'll take it game by game. Nuggets Nation, how are we feeling? Crazy news, I get it. A couple other things you guys have to realize too is, there's been a lot of crazy talk of like, oh, now Nikola Jokic is gone and he's going to demand a trade. Maybe you heard this here first. I am willing to bet my home, the current home that I'm living in right now, that Nikola Jokic will not demand a trade. If he gets traded, it would be because whoever gets brought in as the GM is more incompetent than the previous GM. There's not a package of players that you can send the Denver Nuggets right now that would warrant getting rid of Nikola Jokic. He's not gonna demand a trade. He's not built like that, guys. He's not built like these new age or like North American basketball players, right? It's a different culture. It just is. And it's not to anybody's fault. The NBA's kind of just become a super team heavy league. I don't see Nikola Jokic being like that. I think he's going to want to ride it out. I think he's going to maybe want to have a little bit of say as to the decisions that the team makes, who gets traded, who they get in return, blah, 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 as they should. But I don't see him leaving anywhere unless he's just completely pissed off. I think that there's a better chance that he would just retire early than want to start over in a new city and be labeled that guy. I don't see it happening. So if he does, by some unbelievably terrible decision, get traded, I don't think it would be because of anything that he's demanded. So let's clear the air there on that. That is my opinion. All right. How are we feeling? I know there's going to be a lot of panic. Nuggets fans don't always see a lot of my videos because I don't put a lot of Nuggets content out there. But let me know below, guys. How are you guys feeling about this move? I think that ultimately it's a shock. The move, if it's a good or a bad move, is only going to be judged after the season is over, regardless of how that ends. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the future. One thing I will say is kudos to Josh Kroenke, man. For real, though. Kudos to him. Because this is a move that you make if you're just serious about winning. It takes big balls to make a move like that. And you only make big moves and moves that might, ruffle a lot of feathers and piss a lot of people off if the end goal is to win. Because if he didn't care about winning, he would have just stayed status quo, hung out, sat on his hands, and then maybe figured it out later. So kudos to him for making the ballsy move. All right, y'all. Let me know below. Y'all take care of yourselves, man. Peace out. Go Nuggets, go Avs, and of course, go Broncos. And until the next video,